Let's start out with our first color, which is going to be pink. And I'll be using crayons today, but if you have anything in your art box with the same colors, feel free to use that. So once you have your pink in hand, let's go ahead and use it on one spot on our coloring page, which is on Cogsworth's tongue. So let's go ahead and color that in. It's a really small spot on this page, so it should be very easy and quick. And once you have that pink colored in on Cogsworth's tongue, we can move it to the side and move on to the next color, which is going to be black. So in your art box, grab the color black, and we're going to use black on a few small places. Right here where we did Cogsworth's tongue, right above it on the inside of his mouth, we will go ahead and make this black. So very small area. So just take your time and stay within those lines. And it's just finishing the inside of Cogsworth's mouth. And with our black in hand, let's go ahead and we're going to color the end of one of the hands on the clock part of Cogsworth's face right here in black. So to the left of the tongue, this one right here, let's just color that in black as well. Really quickly, these are very small areas, and then we'll move on to the bigger ones in just a little bit. Okay, excellent. So move your black to the side, and let's go ahead and grab a yellow. So in your art box, find the color yellow, and we're going to move around our Cogsworth page because there's a couple of different places for yellow on his body. First, let's start out at the very top here. On the middle, we're going to use this piece here and color it in yellow right in between Cogsworth's eyebrows. And then over here, right beside the eyebrow, this will get yellow as well. And then move on to the right side of that area, right above the right eyebrow, that's going to be yellow as well. Now let's continue to move down our page. So in the middle of Cogsworth's face, let's go ahead and color in his nose in yellow as well. So let's make that yellow together. Beautiful. And now let's move a little bit further down, and below Cogsworth's mouth, we have this area here that we want to make yellow as well. So color this area in yellow. Beautiful. And now let's go ahead a little further down, and right in the middle, as we all know, Cogsworth is a pendulum clock. So this is the pendulum on the inside that swings back and forth to keep the time. And we're going to make this yellow as well. So continue to use that yellow on this round pendulum right in the middle, just like that. Great work. And now we need to move back up here to the left side and use yellow on Cogsworth's arms. So first, let's start out here with the left arm. Right in here is where the arm will start, and we can start to color that in with the yellow. And then we'll move down and just continue to outline it just like this as you color. So if you want to do that to make sure you stay in the lines, feel free to do it. It's one of the things I usually like to do to make sure I can stay nice and neat on my coloring page. So continue to go around and fill in all of the different places right in here on Cogsworth's arm. And now we're going to do the very same thing on the right side over here where we have Cogsworth's right arm. And let me know in the comments if you have a favorite character from the classic movie Beauty and the Beast. And if you want to do it in the channel, we can work it into Sam's Cool Colors and do it together if you'd like in the future. Just let me know which characters you'd like to see. We can color them in step by step together. Okay, very nice. So now we have both of Cogsworth's arms in yellow, and we're going to move down to the bottom. And these areas that we see here with these thin lines towards his legs will be yellow. So let's just follow along those lines. Very nice and thin. Take your time so you can stay within those lines. If you need to sharpen your crayon, you can always do that as well. Right over here, same thing. We're going to use this same line and follow it along and make this yellow. Perfect. And now at the very, very bottom of our coloring page here, the very bottom of Cogsworth's feet, we're going to make this yellow as well. Let's go ahead and make this yellow. And we have the right foot here, and then we can move on to our next color. So now we want to continue by coloring in Cogsworth's face using the color peach. So look in your art box, find something similar to peach, and try to use it in the inside of Cogsworth's face. So right in here, I'm starting right underneath Cogsworth's eyebrows. And what I'm doing is just coloring around the eyes and being a little careful around the eyes because it gets a little smaller in that area. But once you work around the eyes, it gets a lot easier because you have more space to move about with your crayon, your marker, or anything you're using at home. So go ahead and continue to move along and have a great time with this classic coloring page from a classic character and a classic movie, Beauty and the Beast. Excellent. So now moving along underneath Cogsworth's mouth, just continue to move around with that peach color, just like so. And we are just about finishing up with Cogsworth's face with that peach color. And then we'll move on to the rest of Cogsworth's body. So for the next color we will use, it's going to be the color brown. So in your art box, take a look and find the color brown. And we're going to start to use this on the rest of Cogsworth's body. So right in here, so we could start out at the very top and start to color in all of those areas that we left in white, right around the yellow color. We'll use this brown color to finish out the rest of Cogsworth's body, and on the inside we'll finish out with one other color to make it a little more interesting. But for now, let's stick with our brown and continue to just move all the way from top to bottom on our coloring page. And you can move on any part that you want, any direction you want, but I feel like starting from the top and then working my way down. And right around here, you see around Cogsworth's clock face right there, you want to take it very slowly because it can be very tricky in these thin lines. You see these very thin lines over here, and especially over here around Cogsworth's face. It gets a little tricky to stay in the line, so just be very careful. You may need to sharpen your crayon, or if you have a marker, maybe a marker with a fine point would be great. But if not, just take your time and it'll come out beautiful for you at the very end. So with Cogsworth's body, we're going to continue to work our way here. And when we get to the center, right in here where we have the pendulum for that body inside, we want to leave this area white just for now. We're going to come back and use a slightly different color just to make it look that much better and give it another effect in the middle of Cogsworth's body. So just take your time and let's finish coloring this out with our brown, just like so. And once we add our brown to the page, it starts to really give us the classic look that we know Cogsworth to have. And right in here, right beside that yellow in the middle, we're using that brown all the way around, just like that. Beautiful. And just taking my time. I recommend you all just have a great time and color, relax, enjoy art and everything that comes with being creative and letting it all come out on the page for you and doing your best and forgetting the rest. Okay, so let's go ahead and move down to the bottom. So we had those yellow lines that we did before. Let's color right around all of those with our brown. So go ahead and start to color in all of the other white areas that we left for later. Later is now. So let's go ahead and color those in, and just be careful not to color over those yellow lines because your brown is a darker color, so it may overpower the yellow if you color over it. So try to stay within these lines as best as you possibly can. And we're almost finishing out here. We can move on to Cogsworth clock feet, and just like that, we are onto the left foot first, and then we can move on to the right foot, just like that. And now we're onto the final foot here where we'll be using our brown. Excellent. Okay, So now we'll move on to our final color, which is going to be a tan. So if you have something similar to this color here, which is a tan or a light brown, anything in that family, let's go ahead and use that here where we have the remaining part of Cogsworth's body in white. And this represents the glass that is on Cogsworth's body where you see through it. So we want to give it a little bit of a different color just to show that. And this tan color will work just great. Now, if you don't have tan, that's totally okay. What you can use is just your brown. So the color that we just finished using, feel free to use the brown in there as well. So that's okay. But because he is a pendulum clock and this piece is glass, you can see through it. So I thought it would be nice to have a different color inside, just to have a little bit of an effect of it being the inside of Cogsworth's clock. So go ahead and use that tan and finish coloring in the rest of Cogsworth's body, just like that. And it'll give you a little different effect against the brown on the outside of Cogsworth's body. Very nice. Great work, everyone. So now we finished coloring in our page of Cogsworth from Beauty and the Beast together using 6 colors.